The year 2000, Florida has 25 electoral college votes. Night of the election, results are coming in. Al Gore, who's the Democrat nominee, and he's going up against George W. Bush, who's the Republican. Al Gore is looking like he's pulling ahead on the popular vote. But the Electoral College, the real important one, is undecided. And it seems like it's going to come down to Florida and their 25 Electoral College votes to determine who's going to get the presidency, right? As the night goes on, it looks like Bush has pulled away, and a number of news networks start to call the election for him. So much so that Al Gore actually ends up conceding the election. I believe he calls George Bush and says, like, congrats, you won. And then, like, the next day, there's a lot of questions about, like, wait, actually, I don't think that's the case. This is going to be so close that we're going to have a recount, right? We can't say for certain that Bush won. We're going to have to do a recount here. Al Gore ends up taking back his concession and saying, actually...
He calls George back up.
Yeah, he's like, actually, I take it back. I don't concede this election. I want the recount. So Al Gore and his group, they push for a recount in Florida. George Bush and his campaign challenge that and say, you can't do that. Like, you're not allowed to have a recount. We won. You already called the election, essentially.
Are they allowed to have a recount?
Yeah. So every state handles their elections differently. But, like, generally speaking, if it's going to come down to, I mean, we're talking hundreds of votes, not thousands, right? Hundreds of votes here. If it's that close, you're going to have a recount just to be certain. Al Gore wanted this recount to be done by hand. So, like, and this is the messy part of elections is, like, you have the average people who are, like, volunteering their time to, like, count ballots. So anyway, wanted to have this election recounted by hand. Bush challenges this. It goes to the Supreme Court. And in a decision that is a 5-4 decision in the Supreme Court called Bush versus Gore, the Supreme Court decides that you are not going to have a recount. The recount has to stop, and it's going to go to George W. Bush.